Hey, we are live. Welcome to the Another Brilliant Idea Show, where we share brilliant ideas about brilliant topics with brilliant speakers and authors and guests for brilliant people. And that's you, because you are watching today on the Another Brilliant Idea Show. So I'm so excited for you to be here because I have an amazing guest. We're going to be talking about world domination. Just kidding. This guest is so amazing. She helps women feel better, look better, do better in all parts of their life. And I can't wait to introduce her. But before I do, I just want to share a couple housekeeping things. So if you have a question on this topic, love to hear it. We love to answer questions live. Just go ahead and put them in those comments, and we will bring it up on. You won't be on screen, so don't worry. But we'll put your question up there and we'll answer it live. Also, if you think this is valuable to anybody, I'd love for you to sprinkle it amongst your community. That'd be phenomenal. That would be brilliant. That would be brilliant. And because we find joy in everything we do here, obviously, hello, joy. I also want to share about my book, which again, if you follow me there, I'm sure your feed is blown up about this lovely book. This is technically a journal, but it's easier to say book. I just actually, a friend of mine invited me to be on her inner booth at the festival, LA Times Festival of Books. It was actually at USC, and I was telling my guest earlier, I am actually a Bruin, or she saw that I was a Bruin. And so I was on enemy territory. And so it took a lot. I'm just let you know, I'm an overcomer. So, because literally, I think everybody who was at that event was required to go through the bookstore and buy a USC sweatshirt. Everyone was wearing them. It was a little chilly, and that's probably what they were doing. They were blowing them out. But from babies all the way to grandparents, we're all wearing USC garb. And as a Bruin, it was taught to me as a freshman in college years ago when the dinosaurs roamed the earth that we were supposed to growl every time we saw a USC logo. And so it was hard. Like I literally had to squelch that inner Bruin and just let the love come out. So anyways, just something quirky about me. Anyway, so this is the book I was promoting. It is a journal. I'm actually going to do, I was approached by TikTok at that event. I thought this was kind of fun. And they said, you should really sell this book on TikTok. I said, well, it's actually on Amazon. They go, well, if you sell it like natively on TikTok, we're going to offer free shipping. We're going to offer coupons for people. Like we're doing all the things to get people to sell their products on TikTok. So I'm like, heck, that might reach some new people. So I'm actually going to start a new channel. And so hopefully you'll be able to learn more about this book. But again, like I said, it's a journal that takes you through 31 days. And every day there is a verse, a little insight, a journal prompt to help you work through the transformation of going from overwhelmed to overjoyed. And as a woman who's named Mary, but I'm really more like Martha in the Bible, I wrote this book for myself actually to help me stop feeling like I had to do all the things, spinning all the plates, bouncing all the balls, doing everything, volunteering for everything all the time and putting myself last, because I realized that that's not how we were designed to be. And I think Lia, we'll be talking about this as well today. Like we were designed for joy and to basically just be loved and to be and not stop doing all the time, but being. We're human beings, right? So anyway, so I hope this, I'll put the link to Amazon in the chat. But another fun fact is that I wrote the words, but I created all this fun art with AI. So a lot of times corporations have hired me. I'm looking to do more speaking gigs on that. I just do it for fun. But I love helping people learn how to use AI to make their life easier so they can take care of themselves better. Like what? So I know it's brilliant. Anyways, I digress. So that was my little plug for my journal. And so again, if that's something you are interested in getting, maybe it's coming to TikTok near you. Haven't done that yet. Okay. So without further ado, let me talk about my amazing and brilliant guest who's joining me today. Because I wanted to show what we're talking about. We are talking about Lisa is, I wrote Lise instead of Leah. I apologize. I'll edit that. She is the mastermind behind female world domination. And I'm like, yes, please. I love that. But she's going to be talking about how to live the life you crave. Man, today is all about typos, but you know what? It shows that we're real, right? We're real, and authenticity is important today. But how to create the life you crave, which is your body, your business, your life. So we want to live in perfect harmony in the way we were designed to do. So that is awesome. So let me introduce her really quick, because I think maybe one person in the world doesn't know who she is. She's so adorable. And she's going to get into lots more detail about this today. But basically, women hire her to help them stop overeating. But that's not the point of what she does. Her mission is to help women not only lose weight. I mean, like I said, it isn't to lose weight, but that is a natural byproduct, but rather to elevate their self-image so they can make a greater impact in their business and their lives. And who doesn't need that? I love that. So without further ado, Lia
Hi!
Pinelli!
I'm so excited to be here to talk with you, Mary.
Oh, well, thank you for being here and putting up with all my typos. I love that.
No problem.
So you said something that I think is very interesting. You said that people come to you because they want to lose weight, but that's really not what they really get when they hire you. Tell me a little bit about your journey of what made you start this service and how you really feel like you impact women for world domination, of course.
Yeah. Great question. So, I was a overeater, overweight, yo-yo dieter, like what girl isn't when you struggle with food and weight for my entire life, right? Like my first diet started at the age of 9 because my pediatrician told my mom I need to be on a diet because I was a chubby kid, the whole thing.
Right.
And really at the age,
Justify.
not right. So starting at the age of 9 until I was, I think 36, I was just always on some kind of diet, and up and down, weight up and down. I'd lose weight. But the problem wasn't losing weight. I was an expert on losing weight, right? And
Right.
most of my clients are. I always say, like, most of my clients pretty much have a PhD in weight loss because we've read all the books, we've done all the programs, right? We've invested all this time and energy and money into weight loss. The problem was really keeping it off. It wasn't sustainable. It was never sustainable. And I knew that my brain was made for more, right? I mean, I have a degrees from Stanford and UC Berkeley. I was not meant to be counting points, right?
Dang,
I was not
girl.
meant to be counting calories or carbs. But
No.
yeah, it was taking up so much of my brain space, particularly thinking about what I was going to eat, what I shouldn't have eaten, what I should have eaten. Are my pants going to fit tomorrow? Like it was just a constant.
And like the guilt and shame of all that. Like,
Oh,
what? Like
yes.
that's, and also let's go back a little bit. I mean, I
Yeah.
want to keep going, but you said something very interesting when you said you started your pediatrician, like basically fat shamed you. Like what? Like you're a
Yeah.
flippin' child. Like
Yeah.
that's not cool.
9-year-old kid, little
That
chubby.
is not cool. And
I
like,
know.
and you were just trying to live your best life, and now you were like all worried, and it created, I'm sure, like sense it like anxiety and like,
Oh,
oh my
yeah.
gosh, I'm not good enough. I mean, that's something that I talk about in the journal. Like, why do we think as women that we're not good the way we are? Yes, we should be healthy. It's not like, just go crazy and weigh 5,000 pounds and because your heart can't do it, you'll die.
Right.
But is that put into us? I mean, I mean, obviously you're a lifestyle and health coach. Why do you think that that is so ingrained in us women specifically?
Oh my gosh. Well, there's a lot of theories out there. The biggest thing I think, okay, this is where I kind of get into the whole female world domination, is because I don't think that there is some big conspiracy going on, but
Okay.
I do think that as long as we are distracted, the boys get to keep the lead. You know what I mean? Like the boys don't have to give up any of their, when I say boys, I just mean, like women are still a fraction of the seats in terms of our leadership positions. And
Right.
this, and even our success levels, women really struggle to cross the 6 and 7 figure income line versus men, right? Like there are entire books written on how women are really behind when it comes to our ability to enjoy success and leadership positions. And I certainly don't want to diminish that there is the very real truth that women are still responsible for 80% of the household management, even when they are in dual income heterosexual marriages. Women are still carrying that load. Women
Right.
still experience stalled career development due to caring for aging parents. Like we are still very much put in those positions, but we're socialized, right? We're socialized to take care of everybody else. You were talking
Right.
about this, Mary, right? It's like we're socialized, we're conditioned really to take care of everyone else. So then
Right.
when we're kind of distracted by food and weight, and you started to allude to this, when we don't feel good in our skin, we hide. You and I both know. I mean, I know when I don't feel good, especially in the past, when I'm feeling fat, quote unquote, and frumpy and not good, and I'm not going to show up to a, you know, here, let me give you a great example. I had a
Okay.
client who was top, she was in one of the top levels in her field. She worked in telecommunications. She was ambitious. She was so highly competent, so driven. And she was invited to a gala in Washington, D.C., where she was going to be rubbing elbows with, all of these like amazing connections for her in her career. And she was aspiring to get to that senior level. And she was working her way up, but she'd kind of stalled. So she was invited to this gala, and it was like this, once in a lifetime chance. And she was super excited about it until the moment that she thought about, what am I going to wear and how am I
Oh.
going to look?
Oh.
And guess what? She didn't go. She didn't go because the idea of getting dressed and showing up, and she felt like she was going to be compared to other women and all of it,
Oh,
she couldn't handle it.
no.
And it's
Oh,
a great example of how we hide when we don't feel good in our state, even though she's so competent, so confident
that
in her
breaks my
skill set.
heart.
I know. We do it all the time. And we do it in a way we don't even realize, right? Like we don't do the
Right.
photo shoot for our rebrand. We don't show up to networking events. We don't get on stages if we don't feel good in our skin. And that is having a huge impact on our bottom line. So that was a
Wow.
very, very, I didn't answer your question directly, but it all really
No,
comes together in the impact that this has.
no, you're so right on. And by the way, you just slipped in that you went to Stanford and Cal. Like we talked about that. Oh, you went to UCLA. Oh, you went to Cal. Right. Hell, Stanford too. Dang,
Yeah,
girl. Again, I
graduate
see
school.
this is another brilliant idea show with brilliant,
Yeah.
guests. And hello, you just upped the game, girl. I just
No,
wanted to say that. But
thank
something
you.
you just said is in fact I should put my microphone closer to me so you can hear me.
Okay.
Um, you said about when we don't feel our best, we don't show up and we miss opportunities, whatever. My
Yeah.
husband said something to me when my kids were little, because again, I've been that same, like you talked about your clients, like a yo-yo weight queen.
Yep.
And I literally once, just for funsies, I wrote every diet plan I'd ever been on. Like in high school, I was on the egg diet and I was on the cabbage soup diet. And then I
Uh-huh.
was on Weight Watchers and then Lindora, then I did all of them,
All of it.
paleo, keto, blah, 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 right? But I remember my husband said to me once, the kids were little, and I was always the one taking pictures. Get together, take a picture. My father, I grew up with a camera in my face. But I was always like, let's take pictures. And he goes, honey, let me get you in the picture. I said, oh, no, 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 that's okay. And he's like, honey, if you died today, the kids wouldn't remember you in 5 years.
Oh, Mary.
Right?
Oh,
It put a knife in my heart, but he was
yeah.
so right
Yeah.
because I was hiding. And if I wasn't a picture, I was hiding behind one of my kids. And they always laugh about that. Mom, stop hiding behind me. Because I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to be remembered as fat.
Yes.
But I also was basically not gonna be remembered at all.
Exactly. Exactly. And
And I have shivers even thinking about that, and from that moment on, I'm like, "You know what? Whatever. This is the way their mom looks, and I'm just gonna be in the pictures." But it also gave me, like, impetus, like, "Okay, well, for my kids, I wanna be a good example, and
yes.
I wanna look good and feel good to show them," which again, didn't always stick. I've been up and down,
Totally.
and
Yeah.
I feel good right now. I'm
Yeah.
in a good place.
Yeah.
But thank you, by the way, for doing the work you do. So let's get into that a little bit more. So you had shared that. I have some notes here. I want to make sure you had shared. Oh, and this is, by the way, if anyone is watching, we're about little more than halfway through. If you do want to get a hold of Lia, she has at liapinelli.com, which is very good. You have your name, website. Good job, girly cat. And or you can find her on Facebook or LinkedIn, but she prefers Facebook. So just go to Facebook/Lia Pinelli and you can see it on the screen. It's going to be in the show notes. But if you're listening to this audibly, you can go to liapinelli.com to find more about her. Okay. So tell me, let's go into this a little bit. You're the mastermind behind female world domination. So
I always laugh when I say it, but I'm like, but it's true. That's
Yeah.
what I'm working
It's
on.
like Pinky in the Brain. Like, what are we doing today? We're taking, but coming up with a plan to take over the world or whatever.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I love it.
So anyway, so kind of tell me like where did this come from?
Mhm.
Why are you on this mission to help women have female world domination, which I love.
Yeah, so my background is actually I worked for 15 years as an educator. I was a high school teacher. And
Oh,
the reason I was a high school teacher though was because I had recognized actually after undergrad, between undergrad and grad, I had really recognized that I was a total wild child. I'm sorry, mom, if you're listening. I'm sorry for everything I put you through. But I was a wild child. And one of the things that I really questioned was like, why weren't there any adults that were there to help me navigate this crazy adolescence? And my parents did the best they could, but they did not understand like this urban child in the 90s. Like they had no context for what I was going through. So I decided I wanted to go back and become a high school teacher because I really wanted to support teens who were struggling in school to just navigate their lives. I wasn't there to teach
I
them or
love it.
preach to them. I was just like, I wanted to be that one that's like, I get it, kid. I get that you're having way more fun partying, but like, let's look at what the options are for you if you continue down this route.
Yeah. And because on behalf of all mothers out there and also children of past, thank you for your service.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's such a passion of my teen.
'Cause that's a hard job. Like junior high
Yeah,
and high school teachers, I think big stars in heaven or jewels in heaven because
yeah.
that's a
Well, and
gift.
I love teenagers, in particular teenage girls. And so I became a high school teacher and I actually got to, after the birth of my son, I got to design an elective that I got to teach for over 3 years, which was basically a girl empowerment class. And I eventually took that out and created a business independently with that. But the
Oh,
reason that I did that is because what I was seeing as a high school teacher was there were these brilliant, gorgeous, creative teenage girls who had the self-esteem and the self-confidence of, I mean, basically it was
a
no,
slug.
yes, it was a slug. It was awful. And I'm like, don't you see your brilliance? Don't you see how amazing you are? Why are you still dating that loser? you know? And
Yeah,
so I created this course for them to help empower them to really redefine themselves and redefine their self-image. But
that's
what I
awesome.
was noticing was that I, along with the women of their mother's generation, I was noticing that we weren't like walking the talk. We were not like you said, Mary. We were not modeling it. I was
Right,
busy overeating, feeling shameful, dressing in frumpy clothes. I wasn't feeling good in my own skin. But then I'm telling the girls, "But you're brilliant, so
right.
act like it." And I realized this is never going to work.
Do what I say, not what I do.
Right. So
Yeah,
I knew it has to start with us. It has to start with us. And so little by little, I built my coaching practice. It kind of evolved out of that. But I will tell you that to this day, my mission is still about them. It's about leaving a legacy for the next generation of girls. And really, that's a legacy of body confidence. It's a
yes.
legacy of business confidence. Like we know how to go out there and be successful. And it's a legacy, it's a life legacy. I mean, I think we have to think about what am I passing on to the next generation of girls. Even if you're not the mom of a daughter, I don't have a daughter, I have a son. But girls are still watching you. You have nieces, you have your friends' daughters. I mean, girls are watching us. And I think that when we get really intentional about what is the message I want to be sending, I think we can totally turn the tide. I think that the next generation of girls really could come up not yo yo dieting all day, every day, feeling good and confident in their skin, knowing that they're brilliant, and then choosing partners accordingly. Like I think of all the like loser boys I dated along the way. Oh
I
my
love that, right? Yeah,
God.
exactly. Look, because why we didn't value ourselves.
Exactly.
Right? And we weren't valuing
Exactly.
ourselves. Also, I was just talking about I was telling you offline that, I just a couple like last month, some junior high friends and I, 3 of us went to, something really close to you,
Yeah.
was Murrieta Hot Springs Resort. Highly recommend. It's just reopening up, and so they have, like, 26, like, mineral bath pools and a regular pool. Anyways, it's lovely. And, we were obviously, we went right back to junior high, right? Goofing around, being silly, talking about all this stuff. And we all made a comment that we all thought we were so fat
Yes.
in high school and junior high and high school. And we look back at pictures and say, what the hell were we thinking?
Exactly.
Like we were beautiful and
Yes.
thin. Like comparatively after giving birth to children and
Yes.
spreading like this, typical aging, right?
Yeah,
That's normal.
totally.
Why were we so hard on ourselves? What
Yeah.
did that serve? It did not
Right.
serve us.
Right.
It did not serve the confidence we had. Like just to get into college, you have to be super confident. Like we were struggling just to like write those essays of why we were great
Yeah.
because we didn't feel great. We felt
Yeah.
like we had, like I said, shame and I don't know. And I don't think our parents did that to us. I'm not
No.
blaming anyone. I
No.
think it's just something that, like you said, societal, culturally, we were just accept. You'd read those Teen Beat magazines.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself,
Yes, I
and all those
remember.
like so little skinny. But if you bought those in
Mhm.
real life, they look like skeletons. The poor
Yep.
things. Like,
Yeah.
but we compared ourselves to that, and now it's even worse with social media. And I think it's really important as moms, sisters, aunts, grandmothers, whatever, is to pour into the
Mhm.
children of today and tell them that, like, if I could only go back and slap myself as a
Yeah. Yeah.
junior high or high schooler,
Yeah.
and so I don't want you to have to do that too.
Yeah.
Right?
I totally agree, and, and I have a little tip that is related to that I just want to
Okay,
share because
good.
a lot of times I will hear moms of girls say things like, yes, I'm busy totally hiding, and I always know a mom is hiding because of what you talked about, Mary. When you see pictures, they always pull their kids in front.
Right.
And they think, oh, but I never talk about this in front of my daughter because I don't want to pass this on to her. But she knows. Like
Yeah.
she sees you pulling, like you said, your kids would tease you about it. They know what you're doing. They see you, hiding from mirrors, hiding from photos. I remember growing up, my mom didn't push anything on me, but I still have very vivid memories of her logging her points at the table. Like when she was eating dinner, she had her little Weight Watchers
Weight
pad there.
Watchers. Yep.
And it's
My mom
sending a
too.
message. It's sending
Yeah.
yeah, it's sending the message that and for me, we talked about this. My sister didn't need a diet. My brother didn't need a diet. It was just me. And then my mom was like, we'll do it together because she was being a supportive mom. But I knew, oh, I'm different. There's something wrong with me. So even if you think you're not sending the message, if you're struggling with food and weight and self-image and body image, you're sending the message. And so
Right.
one of the things that I highly, highly recommend to everyone is if you like Pinterest, I think is a great tool for this, but you can use really any tool, but really start intentionally collecting images of women who are unconventionally beautiful. And what I mean by that is I have a whole Pinterest board that's called Beyond 27. And the reason I chose the number 27 is because in Hollywood, women after about the age of 27, we age out of being usable. So that's why you often see mothers are played by women who are like, or grandmothers are played by like women in their 40s. You're like, wait a minute, And so it's because
Seriously?
the majority of the actual images of women that we see in terms of quantity, it's
Right.
27 and below. And
Wow.
so we get these messages that youth is all that matters, right? And then we're aging and we're like, oh, I look awful. I look terrible. So the idea is I have this whole board, like I said, of women who are wrinkly, gray haired, and gorgeous, right? And I
Yeah.
intentionally build that, or women who are curvaceous, women who are differently abled. Like I have all of these photos in there. And I go and I look at that from time to time because I'm
I love it.
intentionally inundating my own brain to remind myself that this ideal of beauty is not the entire story. And I fit into that ideal of beauty, even if I don't look like that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that is a fantastic tip. I
Yeah,
love it. Using Pinterest to reframe your brain.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
because it's true. We do get numb. Like if they say that's why kids shouldn't play those violent video games because they literally
Yes.
get numb to death. Like
Yes.
it's okay to shoot somebody in the face on a
Yes.
video game. So why wouldn't it be
It
okay to do it in
becomes
real life? Like their brains don't
normalized.
know the difference. Just
Yes.
like when you're learning how to play golf, you're want the ball to go, so you have to look to where you want the ball to go,
Yeah.
right? So what you focus on,
Yes.
you whatever. There's a famous quote about that. What you focus on, you
What
something.
where your attention grows, energy no, where your attention goes, energy grows, something like that. But yeah, what you
Something like
focus
that,
on
yeah.
is gonna grow. Yeah.
Everybody knows, yeah. I'm sure all our audience is, like, trying
Yeah.
to tell us right now
Yeah.
telepathically. Um, yeah, so exactly. So we have to immerse ourselves in positive image just for us, even as
Yes.
a grow so if someone wants this for themselves, they can get your help, right?
Yeah.
by going to your website. Is there anything that they should look forward to when they go to your website? Is there something that they should go get or sign up for?
Yeah, yes. So on my website, you will find that I do have a "What kind of overeater are you?" quiz. So typically, as you mentioned, Mary, I work with women who are struggling with overeating. So I've had people come to me who are like, "I really want to lose 10 pounds. Can you give me like a diet plan and an exercise plan?" And I'm like, "Oh God, no, that sounds awful." Because my whole point is I want to help you actually free up that mental real estate. So we're gonna build a way of being with food, a way of eating that actually works with your body, so you don't have to think about it anymore. We're going to put it on autopilot. You still enjoy food, but now you get to focus on what really matters, right? Which is your kids, your careers, your community, whatever that is. And so I
I love
specifically work
that.
with overeaters. And when I say overeating, by the way, I don't necessarily mean like you're binging on ice cream all day long. I really mean that you just keep tending to go back to foods that you know aren't serving you, but you feel like you can't stop. Or you
Mm,
know that you've had enough to eat and you just keep eating. Both of those things are considered to be overeating. And
right.
so I help women with that. And there's actually a few different types of overeaters. So I have a quiz there that you can take. Um, and just find out what kind of overeater you are, because that will actually help to inform you about the way to solve the issue. It's not like a, one-stop shop in terms of everybody has an overeating issue, can solve it in this one particular way. There's more nuance. You can customize it to get there much more quickly.
I love it. Makes it sound so simple. I love that.
Yeah, it can
Easy
be.
peasy, lemon squeezy. In
Yeah.
fact, that's what I have on my desk. You make life easy peasy,
Oh, I
lemon
love that.
squeezy. Yay!
It
Because I
should be
think that's
that
what we
way.
all need to do is
Yeah.
lighten the heck
Yeah.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I also have this sign. I'm obviously very visually, have needs stimulation. Let
Let
go, let God. Like
God, that's
we
right.
hold on to so much stuff that we don't need
We
to, and that
carry it.
I'm assuming keeps the weight on us because we're hoarding those feelings and
Oh my
hoarding.
gosh. Yeah. Well, and I would say the biggest thing for women, honestly, at least in my experience and from my own personal experience, is we are holding on to a life that is not actually the life we're supposed to be living in one way or another. And so that leads to such dissatisfaction that we eat to numb, because what you started talking about earlier, Mary, we're conditioned and socialized to live in a certain way and do certain things and have certain things. And when we find that it's not maybe not serving us, we don't want to face that. That feels scary and awful. Like for me, I was like, I built this whole career and have all this debt from my college education, and now I'm deciding I want to be a life coach. It doesn't even require education, right? Like all of a sudden it was like, I can't do that. So I'm going to eat some more chocolate peanut butter cups and, just
'Cause
stuff
that
it
makes
down.
everything feel better. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the moment. In
Yes.
fact, I was doing a show earlier with a client, and that's what I was saying is you taste it for like 30 seconds in your mouth.
Mhm.
You never taste the food once it goes down here, right? And so my mom used to say, "A moment on your lips, forever on your hips."
Yes, I remember that. I remember that.
It's like such an old saying. But anyways, thank you, Leah, for
Yeah.
your time today. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your brilliance, and for the work you're doing that's not only helping women our age, but also the next generation of
Yes.
women that you're hopefully going to save from the torment of the yo-yo weight and the yo-yo lifestyle. And so I really, really appreciate it. In fact, one more time, if someone wants to find out from you, go to leahpinelli.com and just get your life back,
Yes,
right?
please.
Help her let go, let God of all that
Yes,
stuff.
absolutely,
Yes,
Mary. Thank
awesome.
you so
Well,
much for having me on the show. You are so fun. It's always so fun to chat with you.
well, life's short, man. You gotta have fun. All right. So thank you again, Leah, and I will probably see you again in person sometime soon at the
For
Orange
sure.
County event.
Yeah.
And until then, everyone be brilliant in all you do. All right. Have a great time. We'll see you next week.